the Dean of Cowboys on radio.
Welcome and listening to a radio station where the mighty hosts of heaven sing. Turn your radio on. Turn your radio on. Turn your radio on.
The Cowboy on radio.
If you want to feel those good vibrations coming from the joy that his love can bring, turn your radio on.
Oh yeah, no one does it like the Dean of Cowboys on radio.
Turn your radio on. Oh yes, turn your radio and listen to the music in the air. Turn your radio on.
I love Cento the Cowboy.
Turn your lights down low. Oh yes, turn your lights down and listen to the Master's radio.
The Dean of Cowboys on radio.
Turn your radio on. Turn your radio on.
Cowboy is killing me with the best of country music.
Right on, Cento, the Dean of Cowboys on radio.
Everybody is a radio receiver. All you gotta do is listen for the call. Turn your radio on. Turn your radio on. Turn your radio on.
Wow, I love the Dean of Cowboys on radio.
Believer leaning on the truth that
I love you, Cento. You drive me crazy the way you do it on radio.
Turn your radio on. Turn your radio on.
Oh my God, Cowboy is killing me with the best of country music.
Turn your radio on. All his glory share. Turn your lights down low. And listen to the Master's radio.
I love the Dean of Cowboys on radio.
Get in touch with God. Turn your radio on.
Stay on to Cento, the Cowboy on radio for the best of country music on country tune. Catch ya!
You're the only one who ever made me care.
Stand beside me. Stand beside me. You're the only one who ever made me care. I can't stand to think that I might be alone. Not alone again. Not the way it was back then. Before you walked into my heart and told me we would never part. So stand beside me. Don't ever let me be alone again. Stand beside me. Stand beside me. For if I should lose you, I just couldn't get anywhere. Stand beside me. Stand beside me. You're the only one who ever made me care.
Oh no, I just can't stand to think I might be alone tonight. Oh no, not alone again. Just like the way it was before you walked into my heart and told me we'll never part. So stand beside me and don't let me be alone again, okay?
But darling, I won't care if I know you're standing there. No matter what we have to do, together we can see it through. So stand beside me.
Yeah, stand beside me, cause if I should lose you, I can't get anywhere alone, you know it. Yeah, it's a special night tonight, and we've got a whole lot of stories wrapped in the best of ballads, and I know too well that tonight I'm gonna take your mind back in the days when as a growing little child you sit in a semicircle under the moonlight listening to the elders in the family tell stories of their younger days. Sad indeed, and sad to imagine that this part of our culture has eroded into long forgotten history. So tonight I'm gonna transport your mind back in the days with the best of country ballads, and I bet you can afford to miss a second of it. This is Country Trail and I am your radio friend. Cento is my name, the Dean of Cowboys on radio. Johnny Cash has the first story tonight, and here he goes.
Harry Truman was our president, a Coke and burger cost you 30 cents. I was still in love with Mavis Brown on the night Hank Williams came to town. I Love Lucy debuted on TV. That was one big event we didn't see, 'cause no one stayed at home for miles around. It was the night Hank Williams came to town. Mama ironed my shirt and Daddy let me take the truck. I drove on out to Grapevine and picked old Mavis up. We hit that county line for one quick round. On the night Hank Williams came to town, 1,000 people sweltered in the gym. Then I heard someone whisper, "Hey, that's him." That's when the crowd let out this deafening sound. It was the night Hank Williams came to town. On and on he sang into the night. Jambalaya, cheating heart, I saw the light. And how'd they get Miss Audrey in that gown? On the night Hank Williams came to town. Mavis had her picture made with Hank out by his car. She said he sure is humble for a Grand Ole Opry star. Mavis said, why don't we hang around? It ain't often that Hank Williams comes to town. While Hank signed his autograph on Beulah Reisner's fan, Mavis got acquainted with the drifting Cowboys band. The effect on all our lives was quite profound. On the night Hank Williams came to town.
Oh yes, if you're a student of American history, you'll remember Harry Truman. He was a US president around 1950, and then a Coke and burger cost just 30 cents. Johnny Cash was still in love with Mavis Brown. He never met June Carter, who became his wife till death did them part. That was a period that Hank Williams came to town, and Hank later died shortly on January 1st, 1953 at the age of 29. Johnny Cash captured these bits and pieces of information in this one single song he titled The Night Hank Williams Came to Town.
I was born in Saginaw, Michigan. I grew up in a house in Saginaw Bay. My dad was a poor, hard-working Saginaw fisherman. Too many times he came home with too little pay. I loved a girl in Saginaw, Michigan. The daughter of a wealthy man. But he called me that son of a Saginaw fisherman, and not good enough to claim his daughter's hand. Now I'm up here in Alaska, looking around for gold. Like a crazy fool, I'm a-digging in this frozen ground so cold. But with each new day, I pray I'll strike it rich, and then I'll go back home and claim my love in Saginaw, Michigan. I wrote my love in Saginaw, Michigan. I said, honey, I'm a-coming home, please wait for me. And you can tell your dad I'm coming back a richer man. I hit the biggest rack in Klondike history. Her dad met me in Saginaw, Michigan. He gave me a great big party with champagne. Then he said, son, you're wise, young, ambitious man. Will you sell your father-in-law your Klondike claim? Now he's up there in Alaska, digging in the cold, cold ground. The greedy fool is looking for the gold I never found. It serves him right, and no one here is missing him. Least of all the newlyweds of Saginaw, Michigan, were the happiest man and wife in Saginaw, Michigan.
Yeah, not an interesting story. The greedy rich man despised the fisherman's son and refused him to claim his daughter's hand in marriage. But a smart guy put a trick on him and told him he's hit the biggest strike in Klondike history in faraway Alaska. The greedy man gave him a great party with champagne to entice him to sell him the Klondike claim. He bought it over and went far away in Alaska, digging the cool ground for the gold that was never there. And before he knew it, the young man and his girlfriend have become the happiest man and wife in Saginaw, Michigan. Yeah, it really serves him right, doesn't it? Cowboys go all the way to claim the hands of the woman they love, you see.
Well, I was born a coal miner's daughter in a cabin on a hill in Butcher Holler. We were poor, but we had love. That's the one thing that Daddy made sure of. He shoveled coal to make a poor man's dollar. My daddy worked all night in the Banlier coal mines, all day long in the field hoeing corn. Mommy rocked the babies at night and read the Bible by the coal oil light, and everything would start all over come break of morn. Daddy loved and raised their kids on a miner's pay. Mommy scrubbed our clothes on a washboard every day. Why, I've seen her fingers bleed to complain there was no need. She'd smile in Mommy's understanding way. In the summertime we didn't have shoes to wear, but in the wintertime we'd all get a brand new pair. From a mail order catalog, money made from selling a hog, Daddy always managed to get the money somewhere. Yeah, I'm proud to be a coal miner's daughter. I remember well the well where I drew water. The work we done was hard. At night we'd sleep 'cause we worked hard. I never thought of ever leaving Butcher Holler. Well, a lot of things have changed since way back then, and it's so good to be back home again. Not much left but the floor, nothing lives here anymore, except the memories of a coal miner's daughter.
Yeah, I was born a coal miner's daughter in a cabin in a hill in Butcher Holler. We were poor, but we had love. That's one thing Daddy made sure of. He shovels coal to make the poor man's dollar. My daddy worked all night in Van Leer coal mine and all day long in the field hoeing corn. Mommy rocked the baby at night and read the Bible by the coal oil lighter. And everything would start all over come the break of morning. Daddy loved and raised 8 kids on a miner's pay. Mommy scrubbed our clothes on a washboard every day. Why I never seen her finger bleed and to complain there was no need. She smiled in Mommy's understanding way. In summertime we didn't have shoes to wear, but in winter we all get a brand new pair from a mail order catalog, money made by selling a hog. Daddy always managed to get the money somewhere. Yeah, I'm proud to be a coal miner's daughter. I remember well the well where I drew water. The work we done was hard. At night we sleep cause we were tired. I never thought I'd ever leave Bush or Holler. But a lot of things have changed since way back then, and it's so good to be back home again. And not much left but the floor, nothing lives there anymore. Just the memories of the coal miner's daughter. That was a Loretta Lynn.
One dark stormy night, not a star was in sight. The north wind came howling down the line. There stood a brave engineer with his sweetheart so dear and his orders to pull old number 9. She kissed him goodbye with a tear in her eye. The joy in his heart he couldn't hide. The whole world seemed bright, for she told him that night that tomorrow she'd be his blushing bride. The wheels hummed a song as the train rolled along. The black smoke came pouring from the stack. The headlight agleam seemed to brighten his dream of tomorrow when he'd be going back. He sped round the hill and his brave heart stood still. The headlight was shining in his face. He whispered a prayer as he threw on the air, for he knew this would be his final race. He was found lying there on the ground. He asked them to raise his weary head. His breath slowly went as this message he sent to a maiden who thought she would be wed. There's a little white home that I built for our own, where I dreamed we'd be happy, you and I. But I leave it to you, for I know you'll be true till we meet at the Golden Gate. Goodbye.
Yeah, poor boy. He died in an accident the night before his wedding day. But before he gave up, he left a message to the girl that he would have married the following day, that there was a little house he built where he thought that both of them would have lived happily. That he has willed it to her to live until the day they will meet again at the great beyond. A sad one, isn't it? Alright, you're still on to your radio favorite country trail with your radio friend. Cento is my name, the Dean of Cowboys on radio. You can always give me a call if you've got any comment on the music I play here or you want to have a copy of it. The number to call is 080-910-63639. I take it again, it's 080-910-63639. But I'm sure you know you ain't calling now till I'm done with our program, okay? Okay.
He walked into the bar and parked his lanky frame upon a tall bar stool. And with a long, soft southern drawl said, I'll just have a glass of anything that's cool. A barroom girl with hard and knowing eyes slowly looked him up and down. And she thought, I wonder how on earth that country bumpkin found his way to town. She said, hello, country bumpkin, how's the frost out on the pumpkin? I've seen some sights, but man, you're something. Where'd you come from, country bumpkin? It was just a short year later, in a bed of joy-filled tears, yet death-like pain. Into this wondrous world of many wonders, one more wonder came. That same woman's face was wrapped up in a raptured look of love and tenderness, as she marveled at the soft and warm and cuddly boy child feeding at her breast. And she said, hello, country bumpkin, fresh as frost out on the pumpkin. I've seen some sights, but babe, you're something. Mama loves her country bumpkin. 40 years of hard work later, in a simple, quiet, and peaceful country place, the heavy hand of time had not erased the raptured wonder from the woman's face. She was lying on her deathbed, knowing fully well her race was nearly run. But she softly smiled and looked into the sad eyes of her husband and her son. And she said, so long, country bumpkin.
Yeah, I see a sign of baby or something. Mama love him, country bumpkin. Yeah, that's the same country boy she was calling name the first day he came to town, and to this wondrous world of wonders, one more wonder came, and she fell in love with the same country boy and ended up being his wife. And smiling at the baby feeding on her breast, she recalled how she looked down on him the first day they met, calling him country bumpkin. Yeah, beautiful story, and that's the beauty of country music. It tells the stories of ordinary people in an extraordinary way. Could that be why the cowboy presents the same ordinary country music in an extraordinary way?
I love my cowboy.
How old do you think I am, he said. I said, well, I didn't know. He said, I turned 65 about 11 months ago. I was sitting in Miami pouring blended whiskey down when this old gray black gentleman was cleaning up the lounge. There wasn't anyone around except this old man and me. The guy who ran the bar was watching Ironsides on TV. Uninvited, he sat down and opened up his mind on old dogs and children and watermelon wine. Ever had a drink of watermelon wine, he asked. He told us all about it, though I didn't answer back. Ain't but three things in this world that's worth a solitary dime, but old dogs and children and watermelon wine. He said, women think about themselves when menfolk ain't around. And friends are hard to find when they discover that you're down. He said, I tried it all when I was young and in my natural prime. Now it's old dogs and children and watermelon wine. Old dogs care about you even when you make mistakes. God bless little children while they're still too young to hate. When he moved away, I found my pen and copied down that line about old dogs and children and watermelon wine. I had to catch a plane up to Atlanta that next day. As I left for my room, I saw him picking up my chain. That night I dreamed.
Yeah, three things in this world that can solitarily dine: old dog, children, and a watermelon wine. Women think about themselves when the men folks are not around, and friends are too hard to find when they discover that you're down. So with old dogs, children, and a watermelon wine, you get along because old dogs care about you even when you make mistakes. God bless little children while they are still too young to fail, and watermelon. Yeah, that's one of the three things that won't let you down even when you go wrong. That's the music of Tom Hall.
During the North African campaign, a group of soldier boys had been on a long hike. They came to a town called Bizerte. The next day being Sunday, some of the boys went to church. A sergeant commanded the boys in church, and after the chaplain had read the prayers, the text was taken up next. Those of the boys who had prayer books took them out, but this one boy only had a deck of cards, so he spread them out. The sergeant saw the cards and said, "Soldier, put away those cards." After the services were over, the boy was taken prisoner, brought before the provost marshal. The marshal said, "Sergeant, why have you brought this man here?" "For playing cards in church, sir." "What have you to say for yourself, son?" "Much, sir," replied the soldier. The marshal said, "I hope so, because if not, I shall punish you more than any man was ever punished." The soldier boy said, "Sir, I had been on a long march for 6 days. I had neither Bible nor prayer book. But I hope to satisfy you, sir, with the purity of my intentions." And with that, the boy began his story. You see, sir, when I look at the ace in my deck of cards, it reminds me there is but one God. The deuce tells me that the Bible is divided into two parts, the Old and the New Testaments. When I see the tray, I think of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. And when I look at the four, I think of the four great evangelists who preached the gospel. There were Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. When I see the five, it reminds me of the 5 wise virgins who trimmed their lamps. There were 10 of them. 5 were wise and were saved. 5 were foolish and were shut out. When I look at the 6, I know that in 6 days God made this great heaven and earth. And the 7 tells me that on the 7th day he rested from his work and called it holy. When I see the 8, I think of the 8 righteous persons God saved when he destroyed this earth. It was Noah, his wife, their 3 sons, and their wives. And when I see the 9, I think of the lepers our Savior cleansed, and 9 out of the 10 didn't even thank him. Of course, when I see the 10, I always remember the 10 Commandments. The 10 Commandments that God handed down to Moses on the tablets of stone. And when I see the King, sir, I know there is but one King of heaven, God Almighty. When I see the Queen, I think of the Blessed Virgin Mary, the Queen of heaven. And the jack or knave is the devil. When I count the spots on my deck of cards, I find 365, the number of days in a year. There are 52 cards, the number of weeks in a year. There are 13 tricks, the number of weeks in a quarter. There are 4 suits, the number of weeks in a month. And 12 picture cards, the number of months in a year. So you see, sir, my deck of cards serves me not only as a Bible, almanac, but also a prayer book.
Yeah, I think that boy should rather be a cowboy. He's too smart for a soldier. What do you think? Alright, you're still on to your radio favorite country trail with your radio friend Cowboys. Cento is my name, the Dean of Cowboys on radio. Tonight we are trailing the road with ballads, country stories, stories of ordinary people told in an extraordinary way, and that's the beauty of country music. How I wish that contemporary songwriters of these days should borrow a leaf from these. Here are songs 80 years old and above, and still they remain relevant to the present time. Now tell me, how many music of today still make listening sense after a year or two? Isn't this quite pathetic?
She's a barmaid in a West Texas dance hall. She's there every night till they close, and the Cowboys pay for the jukebox, and she plays San Antonio Rose. Well, I know her life ain't been easy. Lord, the lines in her face say it all. But she still is a beautiful woman in the lights of the Texas dance hall. But she won't sit down at your table, and I know that you can't hold her hand. She won't go home with you, cowboy. She's in love with the rodeo man. He's hard and he's scarred and he's gray, and he's stoned most all of the time, and he drinks at a dark corner table, and he waits there until closing time. So she won't sit down at your table, and I know that you can't hold her hand. She won't go home with you, cowboy. She's in love with the rodeo man. She won't.
Yeah, she's a barmaid in a West Texas dance hall. She's there every night till they close her. And the Cowboys paid for the jukebox, and she plays San Antonio Rosa. Well, I know her life ain't been easy. The lines in her face say it all. but she still is a beautiful woman in the lights of a Texas dance hall. But she won't sit down at your table, and I know that you can't hold her hand. She won't go home with your cowboy. She's in love with a rodeo man. Well, I can't fathom the difference between a cowboy and a rodeo man. If she's in love with a rodeo man, then no doubt she's in love with a cowboy. Don't you think so?
I came from a town that was so small. You look both ways, you could see it all. And all I wanted was some way out. Every evening I'd slip into town and stand around by the caution light and watch the big trucks rolling by. For me it was a beautiful sight, the big wheels in the moonlight. Well, I had a case of wanderlust. I'd lie awake with the windows up, and out on Highway 59 I could hear some big old diesel whine. She was going through all them gears, headed out to who knows where. I fell asleep most every night, dreaming about big wheels in the moonlight. And I won't put my life on the center line, and I want to see the world before I die. And I know that there's a peace I'll never find. Those big old wheels keep rolling through my mind. How I got here, it's hard to say, but so many things got in my way. I can't complain about all I got, kids and a wife and a regular job. But at night when I'm sitting here all alone in the living room chair, sometimes I close my eyes, I see big wheels in the moonlight. And I want to put my life on the center line, and I want to see the world before I die. And I know that there's a peace I'll never find. Those big old wheels keep rolling through my mind. Roll.
Yeah, I came from a town that was so small you look both ways and you see it all. All I wanted was some way out. Every night I would slip into town and stand around the caution light and watch the big truck rolling by. For me, it was a beautiful sight, big wheels in the moonlight. I had a case of wanderlust. I would lie awake with the windows up. Out of the Highway 59, I could hear some big old diesel whine. It was going through all the gears, heading to who knows where. I fell asleep most every night dreaming about big wheels in the moonlight. And I want to put my life on the center line. I want to see the world before I die. I know there's peace I'll never find cause this big wheel keeps rolling through my mind. That was a story told by Dan Seals.
Son,
Yeah, who could believe this back then in 1963 when Cliff Richard did this song? Skeptics took it with a pinch of salt, but 52 years later, Cliff Richard is still keeping his word, still a bachelor boy. He never married for once, and he's aged 75 years. What a bachelor boy indeed. I don't envy him one bit.
He lived by the apple orchard in this little old orchard shack. His real name was Jackson Taylor, but I called him Applejack. Now old Applejack was loved by everyone he ever knew. Applejack picked apples, but he picked the banjo too. Play a song for me, Applejack, Applejack, play a song for me, and I'll sing. Applejack that old Applejack had made. Then he'd take his banjo down, then he'd ask me if I'd sing, and he would play the banjo and I'd play my tambourine. Play a song for me, Applejack, Applejack, play a song for me and I'll sing. Play a song for me, Applejack, Applejack, play a song, let your banjo ring. Play one, Applejack.
We're going to come out, going up with to have a little fun. One of these days, Miss Darling, I'm going to teach you to play this banjo just as good as old Applejack can. Now sing for me, huh?
That's when I was just a kid, and now that I'm grown, all I have are memories. Old Applejack is gone. All that he left me is banjo, and it always takes me back. And every time I play it, I still hear Applejack. Everybody sing, play a song for me, Applejack, Applejack, play a song for me, and I'll sing. Play a song for me, Applejack, Applejack, play a song, let your banjo ring. Oh, play a song.
Yeah, that's another true life story. His name is Jackson Taylor, but they call him Applejack. He was a humble cowboy that ran an apple farm, and in the evening he relaxed playing his banjo. He didn't make it big in his lifetime, but the tunes he played became a launching pad for superstar Dolly Parton. Today, Applejack lives forever as long as you hear the banjo in Dolly Parton songs. Alright, you're still on to your radio favorite country trail with your radio friend, the Cowboys. Cento is my name, the Dean of Cowboys on radio. Tonight we are trailing the country road with ballads, country stories, and stories of ordinary people told in an extraordinary way. And I'd like to remind you that you are very free to give me a call if you've got any comment on the music I play here, or you want to have a copy of it. The number to call is 080-910-63639. I take it again, it's 080-910-63639. But I'm sure you know you ain't calling now until I'm done with the program, okay? Okay, more stories while I reach out for a glass of something.
Bonnie was a waitress in a small cafe. Clyde Barrow was the rounder that took her away. They both robbed and killed until both of them died. So goes the legend of Bonnie and Clyde, the poems that she wrote of the life that they led, told of the lawmen left dying or dead. Some say that Clyde made her life a shame, but the legend made Bonnie the head of the game. The rampage grew wilder with each passing day, the odds growing smaller with each getaway. With the end growing closer, the harder they fought,
With blood on their hands, they were bound to get caught. They drove back from town on one bright summer day, when a man they'd befriended stepped out in the way. With no thought of dying, they pulled to the side, but death lay there waiting for Bonnie and Clyde. 2 years of running was ended that day. For robbing and killing, they both had to pay. But we'll always remember how they lived and died. So goes the legend of Bonnie and Clyde. Bonnie and Clyde, Bonnie and Clyde.
Hey, cowboy, take it easy. Cowboy, you're killing me.
There's a new moon over my shoulder, and an old love still in my heart. I remember now that I'm older what you told me the day we had to part. You promised with the new moon you'd be coming back to me. Many moons have passed, still I'm waiting patiently. There's a new moon over my shoulder, and an old love still in my heart. There's a new moon over my shoulder, and an old love still in my heart. Now I'm wishing I had been bolder, then perhaps we wouldn't be so far apart. You promised you would write me, but so far, not a line. Still I wait and make believe that someday you'll be mine. There's a new moon over my shoulder, and an old love still in my heart.
Oh yes, you promised with a new moon that you will be coming back to me, but many moons have passed till I'm waiting patiently. Well, there's another new moon over my shoulder, and I know that you're still in my heart. Or do you want that heart to be formatted?
Odely, 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 and rock all our babies to sleep. Show me the lady that never would roam and never go roaming out after the boys, but would sit by her fireside so bright. My wife, she is one of the different kind, often cause me a lot of grief. She's off from her home, she leaves me alone to rock all our babies to sleep. Odely, 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 idly, odely, idly, odely, 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 and rock all our babies to sleep. I remember one night when I came back home, I came in as quiet as a lamb. They must have had company, for when I walked in, I heard the back door when it slammed. I walked right in and looked all around. I never thought that she would cheat. Without a doubt, she had just gone out and left all our babies to see. Odely, 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 and left all our babies to sleep. Just the other night, while out for a walk, I happened to stroll down the street, and to my surprise, I saw with my eyes my wife with a man of 60. She says it's no harm, don't raise no alarm, don't make any fuss on the street. She tickled my chin, told me to go in and rock all our babies to sleep. Odely, 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 and rock all our babies to sleep.
Hey, cowboy, take it easy. You're killing me.
I got back in town a day before I planned to. I smiled and said I'll sure surprise my wife. I don't think I'll phone, I'll just head on home, 'cause I didn't know the cold hard facts of life. I passed a little wine store on the corner. I pictured pink champagne by candlelight. I stopped the car right then, got out and hurried in, my mind not on the cold hard facts of life. A stranger stood there laughing by the counter. He said, I'll take 2 bottles of your best. Her husband's out of town and there's a party. He winked as if to say, you know the rest. I left the store 2 steps behind the stranger. From there to my house, his car stayed inside. But it wasn't till he turned into my drive that I learned I was witnessing the cold hard facts of life. I drove around the block till I was dizzy. Each time the noise came louder from within. And then I saw our bottle there beside me, and I drank a fifth of courage and walked in. Lord, you should have seen their frantic faces. They screamed and cried, please put away that knife. I guess I'll go to hell, or I'll rot here in this cell. But who taught who the cold hard facts of life? Who taught who the cold hard facts of life?
What a terrific cold hard facts of life. I bet it's better imagined than experienced. God save them. If I were to be Porter Wagoner, someone would have appeared before God that night, cause you can't fiddle with baby girl and get home in one piece with your head still sitting on the neck.
This is the last cowboy song, the end of 100-year war. The voices sound sad as they're singing along another piece of America's law.
Yes, indeed, this is the last cowboy songs for tonight, and we have arrived at the ranch where we end the trail tonight, and I guess it was a time worth a while. Well, I've got to go now. As you can see, my horse is itching to hit the road. Yeah, next week we'll meet again, okay? Alright, you can go ahead now to give me a call if you've got any comments on the music I play here or need a copy of it. The number to call is 080-910-63639. I take it for the last time is 080-910-63639. I remain your radio friend, and Cento is my name, the Dean of Cowboys on Radio. Take good care of yourself. I'll see you when I'll see you, okay?
This is the last cowboy song, the end of 100-year war. The voices sound sad as they're singing along another piece of America's law. He rides the feedlot, clerks in a market, on weekends selling tobacco.